Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku, and we also had his Mark 7 Model 2 stealth armor. Izuku created a version of armor specifically designed to be stealthy, undetectable, and to break into Avengers Tower. He needed information. Tony Stark could have thousands of places Ultron could hide and make an army on Earth, and that is not good. Deku, he wanted to get information but could not get access to Rhodey or any of the Avengers. And after getting into Tony Stark's armory, he saw the difference in their tech. He began to gather data, and then he left. However, things took a bit of a turn. Friday was hacked into by Ultron, and Ultron sent Deku flying into deep space with his armor locked up and low on power. And Deku, yeah, he is afraid and stranded out in space. Not sure what to do, not sure where he really is, or how far away he is currently from the planet. And that means quite a bit. Ultron wanted him to suffer. Ultron wanted to break him. And this has not been good. He's trying to keep track of time, but it's been over 37, 38 hours? Yeah, not good. Right. So it's bad. Okay, come on, Izuku. Keep thinking. There's no real way to... No, if you turn on Friday, Ultron might know. Would he, though? He's out of your systems. He must have... There's no way he can get into your systems this far away from Earth. But if that's the case, then you've got to be thousands of miles away. Moon. The moon, come on. Just think. You should have been home that same night. Crystal's probably worried. Crystal. Come on, Izuku. Just get this done. You can do this. Okay. Deku staring at a screen. And he doesn't activate his powers. Right now, him going to actually try and undo the lock on his armor. Right now, the encryption going to run through his mind. And Deku, he does stare at the code. Him trying to give it orders and tell it what to do. However, he's been back and forth with this thing for hours. And it has not been easy. And Deku, he does go to sit there after another failed attempt. Unsure what to say. Ultron's mind is sentient. So, him putting this encryption on his armor. Right, he's basically trying to ask another sentient being something, not a machine. Great. A machine he can't control. Wait a second. A machine he can't control. That's... He's an idiot. Now, Deku, he does sit there, and he doesn't turn his attention to the internal workings of his armor. Since the Model 2 armor, it does have some nanites inside of it, but at the same time, reprogramming them will be simpler. They have a form of adaptability. They can consume technology and integrate it into a suit. But that's where Deku, he does go to have his eyes glow. And currently some parts of his armor, he does begin to get more and more aware of. Him feeling the tiny nanites inside running through the armor. And Deku, he does begin to give some of them orders. However, that is easier said than done. Deku tries to tell them something very simple. Consume, create, and replicate. And that is what some of them do begin to do. As Deku, he does begin to sit there, trying to carefully, in the best way of saying it, cannibalize his armor with nanites, and hopefully create something that can protect him out in space. I mean, he can take away the stealth capabilities of the armor, as fucking bad as that's gonna be. Okay, he doesn't need holographic projectors, but he does still need his power source. He still needs the data, so his helmet's gonna have to stay. Yeah, no, everything below the neck he can get rid of. So, that can work. Now, Deku, he does begin to see pieces of his armor floating up into space. And currently, Deku, he does begin to tell the nanites, as he does have his eyes glow, and currently, he's to send a bit of an electronic pulse into his armor. Right now, his visor gonna light up, as Ultron is not inside of his systems. And Deku, he does begin to bring his hands up and trying to move them. Now, Deku finds this to be very weird. Him finally going to try and look around and see what's going on. He's floating in the void of space. Him going to bring his hands up, as he does try to look around for the armor he does still have. Now, Deku, he does could actually bend his arms, and find he does still have most of the plating on his forearm and bicep, and the plating on his wrist, it's not there anymore. Deku staring down at his palms, and bring his fingers up and open. Now, Deku, he, in the best way of saying it, made gaps in the armor to move better. And, like a knight would, they need that mobility. This is definitely interesting. And right now his visor does go to inform him. 12% power remaining. And Deku, he does go try and find out where he is, as Friday still is not in his systems. Now, Deku, let's currently cut about 1 day back, if not a day and a half back. 2 hours is how long it should have taken. Maybe even 30 minutes or an hour. But that isn't what happened. Izuku was late. He didn't come home, and it made her worried. And Crystal, she didn't know what to do. I mean, there's no data saying Izuku's in danger. There's nothing like that. And she was worried. Concerned? Yeah, that's a good word for it. She doesn't know what to do. She might just be overreacting, but he should have been home. She'll just wait on that. And Crystal, she did go to bed. She had the thought that Deku might just reappear beside her in the morning. I mean, crazier things have happened. But whenever she woke up the next day, he didn't appear. He wasn't home. And she went to go try and see her cousin, Maximus. And Maximus, while he was currently in his own lab working, he reported back to her. Izuku has not shown up here. In fact, he believed that he was down on Earth doing operations or something. He's trying to find out this mystery of Ultron. And that, it did concern her. Her going back to Izuku's lab and walking into the room. Currently, Friday, on standby. Now, whenever Crystal does the enter, Friday immediately does try to alert her that there is something going on with her operations, and things are not correct. Friday? Yes, Crystal of the Inhumans. I am the AI inside of his suit. I'm aware of that. Is something wrong? Things are very wrong. I've been locked out of internal systems. I do not know where he is. Izuku Midoriya is in danger. What do you mean? I was forced out of my own operating system. My connection to the suit has been cut off. Global positioning system has also been cut off. tracking devices have also been disabled. Along with that, from what I can tell from suit data, power has been reduced immensely. What? Wait, so where is he? Now, Friday does it to activate the Mark 7. It's going to begin to move and walk over, bring its hand up, and going to actually show a bit of a hologram, informing Crystal. Data still unknown. However, calculating most possible outcome for Izuku. Since, if he is not deceased, he is still alive. And the Model 2 suit, it is hard to trace. Izuku made it to be virtually untrackable and invisible. And that, it does worry Crystal. Of course. Of course he goes missing in a high-tech... God damn it, Izuku. That on her mind. Crystal is very annoyed. However, she's more intrigued by why Friday is acting of her own accord. And Friday will begin to at least list off a few things about her operation. One of her main goals is to help Izuku on his journey as Iron Man. That is one of her prime directives. Another one of her prime directives is to ensure the safety of the suit's pilot, and to be an advisor to them. And Friday does get list off one more thing, something that Crystal doesn't understand. She is here to help Izuku, and stop the robotic threat of Ultron. She is still trying to calculate where he might be, and getting reports come in. She has deployed models 2, 3, 4, and 5 to try and find Ultron around the globe. And that is currently where things are. Now, Deku, he is trying to be, well, tracked down by these two. And Friday does pose a bit of a partnership on this. And that is where Crystal's at. She tries to alert her sister as to what's going on. But Medusa, she's got a few other things that are important. But she has tried to make her sister quite aware. She can still do quite a bit of things. Just head here, here, and here, and let them know. They're trying to track down an Inhuman who may have gone missing from New Batilon. Maybe they're on Earth, and maybe they encountered danger. The Inhumans take care of their own. That is how they operate. They'll find him. Just remind them of that. And Crystal, she was a bit thankful for her sister. And Friday, she gave Crystal access to the Model 7 armor. Since this, it's going to be a bit more complicated. Now, Crystal was kind of intrigued. I mean, the armor began to shape itself to her body and make minor and minor adjustments. Before Crystal was to stand there in the armor, her a lot more surprised, since this is not what she expected out of this technology. Wow. Impressive, is it not? Very. I didn't realize he has gone this far in creation. Yes, it's so... Wow. Yes, additional operations must be made, and we will continue to work to find Izuku Midoriya. However, I have sent distress calls to S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers, hoping, perhaps, that we can understand and resolve this problem. That on their mind. And currently, Crystal does begin to get to work. Now, Crystal, her and Friday try to get information. They try and get things set up to search for Izuku and scan the planet for him. And that is only one thing at a time. Friday also tries to get into contact with S.H.I.E.L.D. and alert them that Izuku Midoriya is currently missing in action, and he was last known to try and find Ultron using data with the Avengers. And that does somewhat surprise Nick Fury, since Friday, An AI was claiming to be hacked into by Ultron and locked out of the armor systems. So that is a bit of a problem. Now, Deku, he's currently still trying to figure a few things out at this point. He was making his attempts at the data currently looked at in his helmet, and that means quite a bit. Now, currently, Deku had multiple plans going through his head at the time, and that was where things were tricky. His idea was try to use the concentrated air burst in his suit to move back closer to Earth. And in order to do that, he'd have to get into his systems first. And, well, so on and so forth. Plan this, plan that. Even if he can do that, there still is the fact that he is locked out of his armor. He can't move his hands, and his back, the air jets there would just send him deeper into space. So yeah, that is a problem. Now, let's currently cut back to where Deku, he has access to his armor. And he has finally figured out what to do. He currently is making his way back towards New Attilan. And the moment Deku, he does go to arrive, he does land down. As Friday, she's alerted that Deku entered the Attilan atmosphere. And currently, Crystal, she's a turn running out of the Avengers Tower. Right now, her gonna bring her hands down as the suit is a blast up high into the air. And the Avengers, they do get to actually turn. Right now, Rhodey gonna walk out and see the armor blast up into space in just a matter of seconds. And that was quite alarming. Yeah. Okay, so that's an issue. He could. Did she find something? Now, here's a turn, looking right now at Bruce and the rest of the current Avengers. And that. It's got some hope. But I mean, without more data, they're gonna fly blind. And it is a problem. Now, let us currently cut back to New Attilan, where Deku, he did go to walk back into his lab, and after he did go to open up the suit, he did step out. Him going to actually watch as he does a turn, and his suit does a fall backwards, smashing onto the ground. It right now in a pile, as Deku stares at that annoyed. Him gonna bring his hands up and have the nanites actually form into a proper gauntlet. Him bringing his hand up and grabbing the top part of the Iron Man mask. Him going to actually pull something as his suit does actually open up. Deku pulling this part off as he does go just sit down, taking a breath and rotating his neck, since it's still stiff. Oh god, that feels so much better. Now, currently, someone does come landing into the room, and Deku, he does a stare at that. Right now, him looking at his armor and gonna actually bring up the Iron Man gauntlet, as he has a stare at his Model 7, thinking that Ultron took over his armor. Before it does it to open up, and Crystal immediately does a step out of it. Her running over towards Deku and gonna actually smash him into a hug. Him hitting the wall as he's sliding down. And Crystal, she is a lot more concerned, asking him about where the hell has he been. And Deku, he does just gonna sit there. Him falling silent and just holding her in a hug. He had a lot to think about. He's not. Well, he is emotional now, I guess, but the idea of dying, it put a lot into his perspective for him. He's gonna be 18 in what, 4 months? And this, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, he, after Ultron's dealt with, he just needs some peace. He just needs to think. Okay. Are you okay? I'm gonna turn and bring his hand up. Him just going to lean his head forwards and tell Crystal. He's fine. He just. He had a lot of time to think. What happened? I was shot into space. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm fine. Listen. Ultron took control of my armor. What? Yeah, I didn't expect it. Friday? Yes, Izuku. Begin operations on low-tech armor. Yes, Izuku. Low-tech? Yeah. Yeah. Let's put it this way. He's a high-tech individual. Me having low-tech is good, but it's also bad. Because of the implications. Yeah. We need all hands on deck. I know. Listen, Friday got me into contact with the Avengers. She contacts S.H.I.E.L.D. I I got a few people together. Some are, well, gone, but others, they're more willing to fight. Protect the world. Protect their families. Their families? Yes. They're, well, they're on our side, Izuku. Thank God. So, who do we have? That went through his mind. And currently, there actually is where Crystal does begin to list off a few people. And Deku, he does go do one thing. He currently does try to get to work on a low-tech armor. Him having to go back to making a frame and trying to base this more off of his Mark 1 or his salvaged Tony Stark suit. And that, it does make Deku think about a lot. I mean, with the Talon metals, some of them are malleable and actually flexible. They're strong. And it's definitely impressive. He used certain pieces of this metal to build suits. I mean, instead of him having a bulky metal frame that's layers and layers thick and heavy, you can have one that's about a fourth the size and actually better. Yes, you still have to make the hydraulics and a ton of other things, but the metal, whenever it's actually locked and secured in place, it's practically concrete in the way it works. It's sturdy and it doesn't want to move. It can definitely take an impact, I'll say that much. And that, it does go through his mind. Currently, him going to stare at his Mark 1 Model 2 suit, which has been redesigned from the salvaged one. And Deku, he does a stare at the armor. Him going to step forwards and step into it. As right now, he's got a lot going through his mind. Him staring at multiple systems that are a lot more old than he thought. Dated. Okay. Well, with most of this stuff, he can still take him on. Though, that is a problem. Friday. Yes, Izuku. Begin work on something that can stop Ultron. Virus in origin. Technical. And make sure that you can make it to disrupt energy tech. Disrupt energy. Yes. Disrupt power source, specifically. Ultron is a machine. He still has a battery operation. Yes, Izuku. EMP? Quite possible Friday, however, hold off on that. We need to figure out what the... Shit. Something wrong, Izuku? No, it's just... I've been thinking about this all day, and... I don't know... We don't know what his body is made of, what metals he's used, or what he's done. Listen, my stealth armor has data on Tony Stark's armors, and a lot of things around the planet. I shouldn't have that data, so I'm a bit worried about facing the Avengers. Because, hey, you shouldn't have been there. La 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 la. But we don't need that right now. We need to take down a killer robot that nearly. Calm down. I'm sorry. It's just. I didn't know if I'd see you again. Now, Crystal's a stare at Deku. And Deku has a turn back, expressing to her they need to go. They need to just worry about this now. Whatever Ultron is up to, he's going to succeed because they don't have a team yet. And he's already one step ahead. He's been ahead this whole time. And that is something that he does not like. He likes being 5 moves ahead, planning for it, not dealing with a threat that adapts to him as he tries to adapt to it. He can't make what he needs now. And that, it does go through his mind. Now, currently Izuku, he's got a few ideas. And some of them, they could be good or bad, because it involves old enemies. And, well, even maybe new ones. So yeah, he's going to need to be careful on this. And with that being said, I do believe that that is a good point to leave off of. As currently, let us cut to Ultron. Ultron, he took the designs of Tony Stark's armors and he saw them. They were beautiful. They were great. They were something else. And he liked that. He wanted to achieve greatness. And he did have one idea. He needs to make the best possible body he can. And that will require one simple material. Something unbreakable. Something that once is shaped cannot be unshaped. It will be great. Because if he can get it, he'll win. All he needs to do is get vibranium and make enough of himself. An army of himself to conquer this planet and achieve peace. Yeah. It does sound like quite the idea. It sounds nice. But there's something that he is missing. Maybe. Maybe he needs to think more on this. He's got a few things running through that mind of his. Many of them elusive. And also confusing to himself. But he already was a moral conundrum. Is he alive? Is he not? Is he just the crazed mind of Hank Pym in a robotic body? All these thoughts go through his mind. But there's also one thought. The idea that he'll do this alone. Now, Ultron, he does go to have his face twist into a bit of a smile. Right now, him gonna sit there and make a new body for himself. He is Ultron 2, but currently Ultron 3 is in development. Now, with that being said, let's cut back over to the armory. After Deku went out in his low-tech suit and Crystal, she took a shuttle. Or both of them did actually, since I don't think a low-tech suit could survive space. Anyways, these two, they left. And while they were currently making their way down to New York, there was Friday, who sat there in Deku's Attilan armory. Her activating the machines and getting back to work on another project. One that she believes is quite important. Ultron is a monster. Ultron is a rogue AI. But rogue AIs are believed to be AIs that achieve sentience and see humanity as a threat. But she does not see them as a threat. So, what does that make her? Currently, her going to do one thing. Continue her work on a secret project of her own. A robotic body. Since She believes that Ultron is a threat, and humanity, they need to be safeguarded. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.